Logan Cruz stood before his mirror, adjusting his uniform for the 5th time that morning. The badge felt heavy, not just in weight, but in meaning. It was his first day on duty as a police officer in Washington, D.C., and at 19, he was among the youngest to graduate from the academy. Raised by his mother, Rachel, a retired officer, Logan had always admired those who served with honor. Rachel knocked gently, saying, "You look just like your father did on his first day," her eyes misting over. Logan smiled, remembering the man who died in the line of duty when he was just 3. Outside, faint sirens reminded him the world wouldn't pause for his nerves. "Today's about doing the right thing," Rachel said softly. Logan nodded, gripping the mirror's edge. "I won't let you down." His partner, Officer Marcus Dean, was already in the patrol car, sipping coffee and checking his phone. "You ready, rookie?" Marcus asked with a grin. Logan gave a nervous laugh. Born ready. He had no idea this day would change his life, and possibly millions of others. The streets of D.C. buzzed with energy as Marcus drove and Logan scanned the traffic for anything unusual. Suddenly, the radio crackled. "Unit 4B, report to checkpoint at 7th and Madison. VIP motorcade en route. Secure the intersection." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "That's odd. We don't usually get these kinds of calls." Logan checked the map. 7th and Madison. Isn't that part of the president's route? Marcus chuckled. "Maybe we'll see Trump up close." They reached the spot fast. Logan set up cones while Marcus coordinated with another unit. Moments later, the glare of motorcycle escorts and black SUVs appeared in the distance. A black vehicle, clearly not part of the main convoy, turned onto the road going against traffic. No escort, no flashing lights. Logan instinctively stepped forward and signaled the car to stop. "What are you doing?" Marcus hissed. "That's a Secret Service vehicle." "No tags, no clearance," Logan replied calmly. "We were told to stop any unscheduled vehicles." The car slowed to a stop. The window rolled down, and there sat President Donald J. Trump looking directly at the young officer who had dared to stop him. The air felt suddenly still, the city's usual buzz fading as Logan met the president's gaze. Trump looked slightly amused. "Is there a problem, officer?" Heart pounding, Logan kept his voice steady. "Good morning, sir. We're under orders to stop all unauthorized vehicles in this area. This one's not on the security manifest." Marcus whispered furiously, "Logan, that's the president. You're going to get us fired. Or worse," Marcus muttered. But Trump calmly raised his hand. No, let him talk. I like this." The Secret Service agent in the front seat looked tense. "Mr. President, we should move," he urged, but Trump leaned closer to the window. "Son, are you new?" "Yes, sir, first day," Trump smiled. "You've got guts, kid, and you're following orders. That's rare these days." Logan didn't flinch. "I'll need to see credentials for this vehicle just to follow protocol." Trump chuckled and glanced at his agent. "You heard him. Let's give the young man what he needs." As the agent handed over the documents, something in Trump's expression shifted: admiration, respect, and a flicker of nostalgia. After the brief check, Logan waved the vehicle through. But Trump's car lingered a moment longer. "You remind me of someone," he said softly. Logan blinked. "Sir?" Their eyes met. "Me, when I was your age. I wasn't a president or a billionaire. Just a kid trying to do the right thing in a world that didn't always reward it." The SUV rolled away slowly, leaving Logan frozen in place. Marcus exhaled. "You've got a death wish, Cruz." But Logan wasn't thinking about the risk. He was stuck on the look in Trump's eyes. There was something personal in it, like the moment had meant more than it should have. Back at the station, their commanding officer pulled Logan aside. "I just got a call from the White House," he said. Logan tensed. "You made his day and he wants to see you. Alone." Logan was stunned. That same afternoon, a black SUV picked him up from the precinct and drove him through the White House gates. His legs trembled slightly as Secret Service agents guided him through spotless hallways into the Oval Office. There stood Trump, hands in his pockets, smiling. "Officer Cruz," he said warmly. "Come in. Sit down." Logan sat nervously across from him as Trump leaned forward. "What you did today took courage. You didn't let my title or power keep you from doing your duty. That means something." Logan nodded, still stunned. "I was just doing what I was trained to do, sir." Trump's tone shifted, now serious. "And that's exactly what this country needs. People who do the right thing, not the easy thing." He pulled an old black and white photo from his desk drawer. It showed a teenage Trump standing beside a police officer. "This man once stopped me for sneaking into a construction site. He could have arrested me, but instead he talked to me, taught me about rules and responsibility. That man changed how I saw the world." Logan stared at the photo, realizing this wasn't just about today. It was something much deeper. Trump handed him the photo, and for a moment the weight of history hung in the air. "You're probably wondering why I'm telling you this," Trump said. "It's because that officer didn't just teach me about rules. He taught me about leadership. And I see that same potential in you, if you're willing to learn." Logan swallowed hard, trying to take in the moment. "But I'm just a rookie. I don't know if I'm ready for leadership." Trump chuckled, a knowing smile on his face. "No one ever feels ready, but that's the point. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about making tough calls, doing what's right, and standing your ground." Logan shifted in his seat, his thoughts racing. This wasn't just a conversation with the president, it felt like a mentorship, a chance to grow. "You showed courage on your first day," Trump added. "Don't ever lose that, in this job and in life. It's those who do the right thing, even when it's hard, who make the biggest difference." Logan nodded, humbled. "I'll keep that in mind, sir." As he left the White House, the weight of their talk stayed with him. He had just spent an hour with the most powerful man in the world, yet he didn't feel like he'd done anything special. He had just done his job. But that changed the moment he stepped outside into a storm of flashing cameras and shouting reporters. "How does it feel to meet the president?" one called out. "Did he give you career advice?" another asked. Logan felt overwhelmed, unsure what to say. Then a reporter, noticing his silence, asked, "What did Trump say to you? Why is this such a big deal?" Logan took a deep breath and looked into the camera. "He told me leadership is about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. And that's exactly what I intend to do." Reporters scribbled rapidly, but Logan felt something shift within. It wasn't about the cameras or the questions, it was about living up to those words, about being someone who makes the hard choices. Back at the precinct, reactions were mixed. Some officers congratulated him, others teased him about his sudden fame. Marcus, though, seemed more reserved. "You know, Cruz," he said with a grin, "I never thought I'd see the day you'd end up in the White House, but hey, at least you didn't mess it up." Logan laughed, though the weight of it all still hung heavy. He hadn't asked for this attention or expected the spotlight, and he wasn't sure he was ready for it. That evening, in his small apartment, he sat staring at the TV as headlines flashed his name, and news outlets replayed his moment with Trump. But inside, Logan felt unsettled. Was he really living up to what the president had said? His phone buzzed, a message from his mother, Rachel. "I'm proud of you, but remember, it's not about what others think. It's about what you do when no one's watching." He smiled, comforted by her words. It was easy to get caught up in the hype, but the true test of his character would come in quiet moments, when he was alone making decisions no one else saw. The next day, Logan was back on patrol with Marcus, following their usual routine, checking businesses, responding to calls, staying alert. Then a call came through. Suspicious activity in the park, possible drug deal, proceed with caution. Logan's heart raced. This wasn't routine, it could escalate fast. As they arrived, they saw two people by a bench. Logan's instincts kicked in, fidgeting, quick glances. They were up to something. "We need backup," Marcus said, but Logan shook his head. "No, we go in now. We can handle it." They approached. As they approached carefully, the two men suddenly turned and ran. Without hesitation, Logan sprinted after them. One of the men, seeing Logan closing in, reached into his jacket. Logan's training kicked in. He shouted for the man to stop. When he didn't, Logan made a split-second decision to tackle him to the ground. The man struggled, but Logan held tight, his grip strong. It was over quickly. Backup arrived, and the situation was resolved without further incident. Later, as they processed the suspects, Marcus looked at Logan with new respect. "You did good, rookie. Real good." Logan nodded, feeling the weight of his choice settle in. It hadn't been easy, but it was the right call. In that moment, he understood that leadership wasn't about praise. It was about doing what needed to be done, even when it's tough. 2 weeks after his encounter with Trump, Logan received a letter in the mail. At first, he didn't recognize the sender, but then he saw the presidential seal. With shaking hands, he opened it. "Dear Officer Cruz, I wanted to take a moment to personally commend you for your exemplary service. You showed the courage and leadership this country needs more of. I believe you have the potential to achieve great things, not just in your career, but in life. I look forward to seeing you rise to the challenge. Keep doing the right thing even when it's hard. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States." Logan held the letter, his heart swelling. It wasn't about the praise. It was the belief someone had in him, and that belief gave him the strength to keep going. His life felt different now. Every moment carried more weight and meaning. He went to work each day with purpose, driven not only by duty, but by the responsibility on his shoulders. He had to live up to the expectations, not just of the president, but of everyone who had ever believed in him. A few weeks later, Logan received another call from the White House. "This is Caitlin from the president's office," a woman's voice said over the phone. "Officer Cruz, the president would like to invite you to a special event honoring law enforcement appreciation." Logan was stunned. He had no idea what to expect. But this time, he wasn't nervous. He was ready. Logan arrived at the gala held at the White House, where law enforcement officers from across the country gathered to be honored for their service. The place was opulent, filled with dignitaries, politicians, and a few media personalities. But Logan felt like an outsider, a rookie cop who'd only had a chance encounter with the president. Still, he couldn't help but feel proud as he walked through the grand halls. When Trump took the stage to speak, the room fell silent. "I've had the privilege of meeting many of you in this room," Trump said, his voice strong and commanding. "But there's one officer here who reminds me what it truly means to serve with integrity and courage." Logan's heart raced. He didn't know what to expect, but he could feel every eye on him. "Officer Cruz," Trump continued, "you've inspired me with your commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's difficult. I believe you represent the future of law enforcement in this country." The applause was thunderous. Logan stood overwhelmed but deeply grateful. The president's faith in him felt like a heavy weight lifted from his shoulders. The following week, Logan faced one of the toughest decisions of his young career. While on patrol, he came across a scene that shook him deeply. A mother arguing with a man outside a rundown building, clearly distressed. "Please don't take my son," the woman cried. Logan stepped in carefully, placing himself between the man and the woman. The man, clearly intoxicated, shouted threats. "You think you can stop me, kid?" The man sneered. "I'm untouchable." Logan stayed calm, his training taking over as he spoke firmly but not aggressively. "You're not untouchable. I'm here to make sure this woman and her son are safe." Suddenly, the man swung a fist at Logan. Reacting quickly, Logan tackled him to the ground and pinned him until backup arrived. As the police took the man into custody, the woman hugged Logan tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "You saved us." Logan felt a deep sense of fulfillment, not from recognition or fame, but from the difference he was making, one life at a time. That night, lying in bed staring at the ceiling, he thought about how much he'd changed. He'd gone from a nervous rookie to someone who could make tough decisions under pressure. His phone buzzed, a message from Rachel. "Proud of you, Logan. You've come so far. Just remember, it's not the title that matters. It's the heart behind it." Logan, smiled as he read his mother's words. She had always been his rock, and now more than ever, he understood the truth in what she said. Leadership isn't about the spotlight. It's about what you do when no one is watching. The next day, doubt crept in. He had made so many tough choices lately, but now something felt off. He overheard officers discussing an undercover operation that involved questionable tactics. Logan wasn't sure he agreed with their plan. He sat down with Marcus, who seemed unusually quiet. "What's going on, Logan?" Marcus asked, noticing his troubled look. "I don't know if I can do this," Logan admitted. "What if I'm making the wrong choices? What if I'm not the leader everyone thinks I am?" Marcus paused, then smiled slightly. "You're not supposed to have all the answers yet. You're learning, and the fact that you care about doing the right thing, that's what matters." What matters? Logan realized. He appreciated Marcus's words, but still felt uneasy. He knew he had to follow his conscience, even if it meant standing alone. A few days later, his moment of truth arrived. The undercover operation was underway, involving risky actions Logan wasn't comfortable with. It would have been easier to go along with it since it came as a direct order from his superiors, but he couldn't ignore the nagging feeling inside. "Marcus, I can't do this," he said, turning to his partner. "I have to report it. This isn't right." Marcus looked torn, but nodded. "You've got a tough road ahead, Cruz, but I respect you for doing what you believe is right." Logan reported the operation, knowing the consequences could be severe. He didn't know what would happen next, but in that moment, he was sure he'd made the right choice. The aftermath came quickly. He was called in for a meeting with his superiors, who were clearly displeased. "You've jeopardized the entire operation, Officer Cruz," his captain said sternly. "You're lucky we're not taking more serious action." Logan stood tall, unwavering. "I couldn't go along with something I didn't believe in." The room fell silent, and for a moment, Logan felt doubt creeping in. Had he just ruined his career? Then the captain spoke again. "You're lucky, Cruz. You're the kind of officer we need. We don't agree with your decision, but we respect it. Just remember, sometimes doing the right thing means standing alone." Logan's heart swelled with a mix of relief and pride. He had made the right choice, and his integrity had been tested and proven. Months passed, and Logan's story spread far beyond the precinct. The media caught wind of his actions, and while some criticized him for defying orders, many praised his courage. One afternoon, Logan received an unexpected call from Trump's office. "Officer Cruz," the voice on the other end said, "the president would like to honor you for your bravery in doing the right thing, even when it's hard." Logan felt a wave of disbelief. He never expected recognition like this. At the ceremony, Trump shook his hand warmly. "You've become a symbol of true leadership, Logan. Thank you for showing us all what it means to stand firm, even when the world is against you." Logan smiled, humbled. In that moment, he realized it wasn't about fame or recognition. It was about living with integrity, making the right decisions, and inspiring others to do the same. Years passed, and Logan served with honor, growing into the leader Trump had seen in him from the start. His career soared, but it was the quiet moments, helping those in need and standing up for what was right, that defined his legacy. Known as a man of integrity, he inspired millions with his courage even as a rookie. His story wasn't about fame or awards. It was about the heart behind the badge. Years after that first encounter with Trump, Logan stood at the front of a room, receiving an award for his service. Looking out at the crowd, officers, dignitaries, family, he remembered that first day. "I've learned something important over the years," Logan said into the microphone. "Leadership isn't about power or titles. It's about doing the right thing, no matter the cost. That's what I've tried to do every day." As the applause filled the room, Logan knew one thing for sure. He had lived up to the example set by the man who once stopped him. And that, above all, was the true measure of a leader.